everything you think you know about yourself is a lie. Not a mistake, not a misunderstanding, a deliberate lie designed to keep you small, stuck, and powerless. From the moment you could speak, you were taught to misuse the most powerful words in existence. I am. Two simple words that hold the power to create worlds, shape destinies, and rewrite reality itself. But what if I told you that every time you use them, you're not just speaking, you're casting a spell? And worse, you've been casting the wrong one. You see, this isn't just another piece of self-help fluff or a recycled idea wrapped in mysticism. This is the secret they don't want you to know. The secret they've hidden in plain sight, embedded in ancient texts, whispered by mystics, and buried under centuries of manipulation. Why? Because if you understood the true power of I am, you'd no longer play their game. You'd stop being a pawn in their system and start rewriting the rules. And that terrifies them. The truth is, the world isn't built to serve you, it's built to control you. And your own words have become the chains keeping you in place. Think about it. How often do you say, I am tired, I am broke, I am not enough? These aren't harmless phrases, they're commands. Commands that shape your reality, align your energy, and manifest exactly what you fear. But you weren't taught this, were you? No one ever told you that the way you define yourself could trap you or set you free. Because if you knew, you'd become unstoppable. You'd awaken to a power that doesn't just bend reality, it destroys the illusion of limitation entirely. This isn't just about learning a truth, it's about remembering it. Because deep down you felt it, haven't you? That quiet pull, that sense that there's more to this life than what you've been told. You've seen glimpses of it in the synchronicities you can't explain, the moments when reality feels too perfect to be random. It's not coincidence, it's a crack in the illusion. And now that crack is widening. The question is, are you ready to step through it? Across time, in the quiet corners of ancient knowledge, a secret was hidden, not lost, but concealed. Two words, I am, may seem ordinary, almost trivial. Yet they hold a force so immense that those who understand it have built empires, shaped destinies, and perhaps kept you from realizing its true meaning. This isn't just about affirmations or positive thinking. It's about the very mechanism through which reality bends and reshapes itself around your identity. But why would such a fundamental truth be kept from you? The answer lies in the quiet manipulation of what you believe about yourself. It's no accident that society encourages you to speak of your limitations without a second thought. I am struggling. I am unlucky. I am not enough. These phrases, repeated daily, weave a narrative that traps you in a cycle of scarcity and doubt. And it's not just habit, it's conditioning. For centuries, those who understood the potency of I am knew it had to be carefully controlled. The power to define oneself, to declare existence itself, is the ultimate tool of creation. Letting everyone access it consciously, that would dismantle the structures of control that keep the world as it is. The ancient mystics didn't stumble upon this truth, they protected it. Whether inscribed in hidden scrolls, woven into sacred chants, or cloaked in allegory, I am was revered as the voice of creation, the bridge between the seen and unseen. But over time, this knowledge was siphoned away, its significance diluted. Those in power understood that if you ever truly claimed your ability to shape reality through these words, their systems of dominance would crumble. So, the knowledge was hidden, repackaged as superstition, or locked behind symbols only the initiated could decipher. And now, fragments of that hidden wisdom are beginning to resurface. But they don't appear in the form you'd expect. They whisper through forgotten texts, through synchronicities you can't ignore, through moments where you sense there's something more. What you've been taught to see as coincidence is no accident. It's a doorway. Step through it, and the story of who you are begins to unfold in ways the world never prepared you for. Long before modern religions and ideologies, humanity looked to the stars, the earth, and the unseen realms for answers. Across cultures, a thread of sacred knowledge emerged, a whisper that creation itself responded to the spoken word. In Egypt, the priests of the temples invoked sacred phrases believed to mirror the voice of the divine. Among these, the essence of I am wasn't just a statement, it was a declaration of unity with the cosmos. To speak those words was to claim one's place within the infinite, not as a spectator, but as a co-creator of reality. Yet, as centuries passed, the true meaning began to fade, buried under allegories and rituals no longer understood by most. In the Bible, the story of Moses encountering the burning bush holds a key that few dare to examine deeply. When asked for its name, the divine voice answered, "I am that I am." This wasn't a name in the ordinary sense. It was a revelation, an invitation to recognize the divine presence within every individual. But how often is this seen for what it truly is? The power of I am was never meant to be externalized or worshipped at a distance. Instead, it was a mirror held up to humanity, reminding each person of their role in shaping existence. The sacred text whispered a truth that institutions quickly moved to control. The ancient mystics of the East, too, understood this power, though they expressed it differently. Mantras and meditations centered on self-realization all pointed to the same principle. The internal reality defines the external. I am became the unspoken foundation of countless teachings, the point where individuality and the infinite intersected. But the simplicity of this idea is deceptive, isn't it? It challenges everything. What if you've always been more than you've been told? What if the divine wasn't something separate, but something woven into every breath, every thought, and every utterance? Yet, as these teachings spread and civilizations rose and fell, the clarity of this knowledge became fractured. Symbols replaced understanding, rituals became hollow repetitions, and the sacred message of I am was obscured behind layers of doctrine and dogma. But echoes remain. A word here, a story there, a fragment of wisdom carried forward through time. These remnants call to those ready to listen, ready to uncover the deeper layers of their existence. And if you feel that call, it's because something within you already knows. The truth has been waiting. There's a reason the power of I am feels elusive, even when it's been hiding in plain sight for centuries. Knowledge this profound, this transformative, could never be left unguarded. Across time, powerful systems, religions, governments, and corporations have understood one thing: control the narrative, and you control the people. But how do you suppress something so universal, so intrinsic to human nature? The answer lies in subtlety. Instead of erasing the power of I am, they twisted it, burying its true potential beneath layers of fear, distraction, and conformity. The result? A world where you unwittingly surrender your creative force. Think about the messages that surround you daily, advertisements that tell you you're incomplete, institutions that demand obedience, and media that thrives on division and fear. This isn't random, it's deliberate. By keeping you focused on external validation and false narratives, these systems ensure that your inner power remains dormant. I am becomes a tool of manipulation. Instead of declaring abundance, freedom, or joy, you're led to declare limitation. I am not enough. I am afraid. I am powerless. And each time you speak these words, you unknowingly reinforce the very chains that hold you back. But it goes deeper than just societal conditioning. Those in positions of power have long understood the mechanics of manifestation, even if they don't call it that. From ancient priesthoods to modern elites, the knowledge of how thought shapes reality has been guarded like a treasure. It's no coincidence that this understanding surfaces in symbols, rituals, and practices reserved for the few. While the masses are told to accept their fate, those who know the truth use it to bend reality in their favor. They don't just know the game, they're writing the rules. And you've been playing along without even realizing it. Still, cracks in this system are beginning to appear. The illusion, carefully constructed over centuries, is starting to unravel. As fragments of this knowledge resurface, they ignite a resonance within those attuned to hear it. It's not just the words, it's the energy they carry. The same force that once moved civilizations, now stirring deep within you. And as this energy builds, it seeks a path forward, breaking free from the constraints that have bound it for far too long. Every thought you think, every word you speak radiates energy. I am is not just a phrase, it's a vibrational blueprint, a signal that ripples through the unseen layers of reality, shaping what comes next. Science may call it quantum mechanics. Mystics call it creation. Both speak to the same truth. Your words carry weight far beyond what the physical senses can perceive. When you declare, I am, you are aligning your energy with a specific frequency, and that frequency begins to weave itself into the fabric of your experience. But here's the twist. Most people use this force unconsciously, creating chaos where there could be harmony. This isn't just metaphysical speculation. Researchers have begun to uncover the science behind vibration, frequency, and intention, bridging ancient wisdom with modern understanding. Experiments in quantum physics show how observation itself influences reality. If attention shapes outcomes on a subatomic level, imagine what happens when the energy of your emotions and the conviction of I am combine. It's not magic, it's mechanics. And yet society dismisses this connection, reducing it to mere coincidence or pseudoscience, all while the evidence builds in plain sight. But why would such knowledge be ignored when its implications are so profound? The answer is uncomfortable, because it's empowering. If you understood that I am aligns your energy with the reality you desire, you would no longer be a passive participant in life. You'd become the architect of your experience, no longer bound by fear, doubt, or limitation. This is why ancient teachings always paired I am with discipline, focusing intention, directing thought, and aligning emotion with clarity. The alchemists spoke of transforming lead into gold, but their true work was inner transformation. I am was their mantra, their compass, their creative force. As this knowledge stirs within you, something begins to shift. The words you've spoken casually, the thoughts you've entertained carelessly, now feel charged with significance. They are no longer fleeting, they're foundational. And with this awareness, the energy around you begins to shift as well, pulling you towards something greater, something that has always been waiting for you to notice its presence. Words are not just tools for communication, they are instruments of creation. The elite have always known this. Through carefully crafted narratives, subliminal messages, and repetitive imagery, they've turned language into a tool of control, a spell cast upon the collective consciousness. These aren't just stories you hear on the news or slogans you repeat without thought. They are deliberate constructs designed to steer your beliefs, your actions, and ultimately, your reality. You are not enough, they whisper through advertisements. You are powerless, they imply through fear-driven headlines. And yet the greatest spell of all is convincing you these messages are harmless. The manipulation runs deeper than it appears. Consider how often phrases like, you can't, you shouldn't, or you'll never are subtly reinforced. These aren't just words, They're barriers placed between you and your potential. The media, education systems, and societal norms all play their part, weaving these limitations into the fabric of your identity. And while you might think you're immune, the truth is that these messages sink into your subconscious, shaping your I am without your consent. They've turned your own mind into the battlefield, and for many, the fight is lost before it's even begun. What's most insidious is how these spells exploit the power of repetition. The more you hear, "You are broken," "You are weak," the more you unconsciously begin to declare, "I am broken," "I am weak." The shift is subtle but profound. Over time, your creative force is hijacked, and instead of manifesting freedom, you find yourself manifesting chains. But the elite don't stop there. They understand that if they control the words you hear and speak, they control the reality you live in. Their mastery isn't in silencing you outright. It's in making you speak against yourself without even realizing it. Yet, even the strongest spells can be undone. Awareness begins to unravel their power. The very moment you question the words you've internalized, their grip starts to loosen. It's not about fighting the narrative. It's about reclaiming your own. As you begin to reshape the I am within, the external world responds, shifting in ways that feel almost otherworldly. And it's here, in this unfolding awareness, that the deeper truth begins to take form, revealing something far more profound than what has been taken from you. In the ancient mystery schools, seekers weren't taught to turn lead into gold as the legends suggest. Instead, they were initiated into the most profound form of alchemy, the transmutation of the self. I am was their philosopher's stone, the sacred key to transforming raw potential into tangible reality. This wasn't about wealth or power in the material sense. It was about becoming. They understood that every time I am is spoken, it sets into motion the forces of creation, aligning thought, emotion, and energy into a singular, focused intent. And yet this practice was shrouded in secrecy, reserved for those deemed ready to wield its immense power responsibly. True alchemy begins within. It's not about external rituals or arcane symbols, though those can serve as tools for focus. The real work happens in the quiet spaces of the mind and heart. When you declare, I am, you're not just stating a fact, you're activating a process. The raw energy of your desires, fears, and beliefs is drawn into alignment, shaping the very fabric of your existence. But here's the paradox. Most people unknowingly use this process to reinforce what they don't want, declaring, I am stuck, I am lost, and I am unworthy. The ancient alchemists would call this chaos alchemy, energy without direction, a fire without purpose. To harness this force, intention must be paired with precision. The mystics taught that I am works best when spoken with clarity and certainty. It's not enough to say the words. You must feel them resonate through every fiber of your being, as if the reality you seek has already unfolded. This is why they paired the practice with visualization, breath work, and moments of profound stillness. They knew that the secret wasn't in speaking louder or wishing harder, it was in embodying the truth of what you declare. I am abundant, spoken with conviction, becomes a command to the universe itself. As you step into this practice, something remarkable begins to occur. The boundaries between what is imagined and what is real start to blur. Each declaration of I am feels less like a wish and more like a certainty. And while the transformation begins subtly, its effects ripple outward, touching every aspect of your life. Reality, as you've been taught to perceive it, is only a fragment of what exists. The vastness of possibility stretches far beyond the walls of logic, reason, or even time itself. I am is not just a declaration of identity. It's a doorway, a key that unlocks realities hidden in the folds of the infinite. Every time you speak these words, you are reaching into a realm of potential, pulling threads of energy into form. But here's the secret they never told you. The reality you experience now is not fixed. It is malleable, shifting, and alive, shaped by the frequency of your being. The mystics called this the art of becoming, a process not of change but of recognition. They understood that the self is not confined to a single version. There are infinite versions of you, each existing in its own space, its own possibility. When you say, "I am," you are choosing which version steps forward. But this choice isn't made once. It's made in every moment, with every thought, emotion, and declaration. Most live unaware of this, locked in cycles of repetition, believing that what they see is all there is. Yet those who awaken to this truth begin to move through life differently, bending the rules instead of following them. The quantum field, as modern science calls it, aligns perfectly with these ancient teachings. It reveals that particles exist as probabilities until observed. And what is observation if not focused thought, paired with intention? When you say, "I am," you are collapsing infinite possibilities into one experience, summoning what was once intangible into your physical world. But here lies the paradox. The more you cling to what you think you know, the less you can access the unknown. To truly step into the uncharted, you must release the illusion of certainty and embrace the limitless nature of what could be. And this is where it all begins to change. As you speak your "I am" with clarity and intention, the fabric of your reality starts to shift in ways you can't ignore. Opportunities you once thought were impossible begin to align, synchronicities unfold, and a sense of undeniable momentum carries you forward. This isn't magic, it's mastery. The question is no longer what you are, but what you're willing to become. So what will you choose? Will you continue to speak as you always have, reinforcing the limits they've placed on you? Or will you rise to the challenge of reclaiming your words, your power, your reality? This is more than just knowledge. It's action. Say it aloud. Feel it resonate. I am. Let it echo through every part of your being until the reality you desire is no longer a distant dream, but a living, breathing truth. It's not enough to know this. You must live it. Because once you step into this power, there's no going back.